Welcome to Beach Boys Talk, a live stream show dedicated to our favorite band, the Beach Boys.
Just from your experience, obviously with the guys in
But you know that California, that Beach Boys sound. Boy.
Whether you're a seasoned fan or a new listener, there is something for everyone to enjoy on Tuesday nights.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Chad, how are you? How's everybody doing?
We are not experts or historians. We are just two brothers that love the Beach Boys and their music. We bring on historians and authors, current and past band members, and songwriters to bring us closer to the music we all love.
What are you standing here? What are you waiting
What are you doing?
You know, Brian, you don't have to wait here.
Yeah.
Just go in there. You're
Yeah.
the brother, man, you know.
Plus, we feature an all-request live platform, so you can hear your favorite songs each week, a live chat so you can connect with other fans, fun games, and of course, the usual shenanigans. So if you're a fan of the Beach Boys, young or young at heart,
Get your chatting fingers ready. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
What kept the Beach Boys from being the Beatles? That's a huge, huge question. But I think I've got the answer.
what's up, everybody?
Hello.
How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, can you hear Matt? Let's see. Can we hear Matt? Yes, we can hear Matt. All right. Welcome, everybody.
Missed you last week there, brother.
Oh, man, I missed you, too. I'm glad you didn't die last week. That was terrible.
Yeah, I was pretty sick. I don't know what happened, but I'm feeling better now. So,
Of course, the irony of playing, he ain't heavy, he's my brother, while you're puking in the bathroom was pretty fun. So, he ain't heavy. He's just puking. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's not good.
Well, thanks for letting everybody know that was going on.
Well, I don't think it was that big of a secret. If you go back and watch last week's episode, Matt is probably, it looks like you're dying. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see everybody. It's been fun interacting already. I missed you all from last week, so good to
I know,
have you.
chatting with everybody. It's been a lot of fun. Actually, let's.
Hope you all had a good 4th of July, long weekend and everything.
Yeah. So, Claire, I have a question for Claire. Claire, do you guys celebrate 4th of July as darn it, we messed up kind of day? What do you guys do on 4th of July? Is that weird? I've always wondered what British folks do on those days. So let's say hi, White Claire is answering. Joe, hi Claire, hi Don, hi Nick, hi Julie. Joyce is here. Don. Everybody, hey, the Dirk's in the house.
The OG, hey Dirk.
Everybody, the OG. Yeah. Claire says we do not. Okay, so got it. Not in Australia either. So I always wondered how Great Britain handles their many Independence Days that are not necessarily independent from them, right?
I was at this conference one time, and this guy from England was there, and he told me that wasn't even that big of a deal to England because they only lost like a little tiny piece of land, in North America, that they don't even really think about it that much. I don't know if that's
probably
true.
And if I remember right, they're probably in the middle of like several other conflicts as well. So it's not like they were. I think it was probably. Yeah, I think probably not a huge deal, but welcome everybody.
Wait, we have a new guy. I'm sorry, Brandon. Thank you for being here. Why don't you put in the chat?
Hey, Brandon.
Your favorite Beach Boys song, your favorite album, where you're from.
Brandon,
We're happy to have you here with us.
Yeah, Brandon, what's your favorite album? Hey, Joey looks new too. We've got some new folks out here. Joey Hooper on Facebook.
Anybody new? Yeah, let us know.
Well, welcome to Beach Boys Talk, everybody. Yes. It's a weekly show, and it's all about our favorite band, getting folks together that just love to talk about how great the music is, how much fun. Just getting together every week and meeting new people and other people that share your interests. Just a place to connect and people that love the music just as much as you do.
Yeah, I mean, Greg and I are just brothers that love the Beach Boys. We've loved them since we were young. We don't claim to be, big Beach Boys experts or anything like that. We just really started this show to talk about our favorite band and their music.
Yeah.
And we enjoy it. So that's why we're here. And we have a amazing show tonight. So if you're tuned in, you're in for a treat. Our special guest tonight
I am so excited.
Is legendary Wrecking Crew member Tommy Morgan.
Matt,
yes, that harmonica you hear on Good Vibrations.
On Good Vibrations, he
is
played
Tommy
it.
Morgan. That harmonica you hear on Cabanescence
is
Tommy Morgan. On Friends is Tommy Morgan.
It's like unreal. I am so excited for this show.
Yeah.
I hope he picks up the phone. That's all we can hope for at this point because we've done everything else. So really excited.
So we're gonna have him in about an hour. We're gonna talk about our 5 favorite Mike Love vocals that came after the 4th of July show. The Beach Boys were on. It was good to see him on TV after being gone for so long. We started talking about Mike and kind of that authentic sound, and so we kind of got into, why don't we talk about some Mike Love vocals tonight. We're also going to do trivia tonight. And
Trivia's back. Woohoo!
Trivia's back, so it'll be after the interview and everything. And what we're going to give away is a special edition. It's an Endless Summer Quarterly from 2010. It's the Beach Boys television and film appearances, and it comes with a special Endless Summer Quarterly CD called The Boys of Summer with music by Brian Wilson, Mike Love, David Marks, Janet Dean, Al, Dennis Wilson, even on. So we're going to give this away tonight to the person that wins gets our trivia question correct. All right.
Yeah. So, and by the way, big shout out and thank you to Endless Summer Quarterly for supplying us some really fun giveaways. We've got some more stuff, and it's gonna be really fun. So, well, of course, Matt, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on your thing here, but we'll do the many moods, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that too. And also requests, like always. And we might do the requests a little bit different tonight, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about our Mike Love songs, we might do it. Just go ahead and do it then. So
yeah, we always stick the requests at the end. We might try and do that a little bit in the middle, so to have some fun with that. But always, we want to say thank you. And new people out there, if you're new, we'd love to introduce yourselves. Type in the chat. Tell us where you're from. And for example, Brandon Banks on Facebook. Brandon says, "Thanks, guys. His favorite album he said it's a toss-up between how perfectly timed All Summer Long or Beach Boys Today or Summer Days, Summer Nights." So he's in our camp. So
in fact, today I'm going to talk about it in a little while, but today is the anniversary of the release of the Beach Boys All Summer Long album.
Pretty cool.
1964. Yeah. Yep. Great album.
Nice job, Brandon. Yeah, good stuff. We are so honored to have you join us, man. It's a lot of fun. Everybody on here knows way more about the Beach Boys and is probably more of a hardcore fan than we are. So we're just excited to have more people on. But big thank you to all the Facebook groups that are so sweet to let us post and let us be annoying and say, hey, we have our show on Tuesdays. I'm sure it gets filled up. So we really appreciate the Facebook groups. We appreciate all the message boards, Smiley Smile, Beach Boys Today. And, of course, our really good friends, Alan and Dirk, the OG, and Mike over at Endless Harmony Forum. If you haven't checked out the Endless Harmony Forum, go over there. Got some fun conversations going on, and they take a deep dive into some of the topics that we talk about here. Matt, we hit a huge milestone over the past couple weeks for us, and that was we now have 2,000 followers on Facebook, which I think for us is big. It's probably not big to many other people, but for me and Matt personally, it's big because, once again, this all started with me and Matt, kind of our phone calls together and just talking about going down deep dives of the Beach Boys and having fun. So we can't thank you enough for spending your time with us on Tuesday nights, those of you that do, especially our regulars. And you know who you are. You're a regular. You're usually on very early, and we really appreciate you. You're good friends. And of course, new people. So thank you. 2,000 followers. It's really fun. Humble brag there is what we call that. So sorry. We have a request. We obviously love to find new people, especially folks that love the Beach Boys and maybe feel like they don't have an outlet for that kind of their fandom. They're like, nobody else likes the Beach Boys. So if you could do us a favor and share the stream, whether you share it on YouTube or share it on your Facebook page, share it with your friends, folks that love the Beach Boys. If everybody shares it a little bit, I think we can get to folks that maybe need a friend or need like once again, need a place to be able to come and feel like they belong, because everybody here does. So we're excited about that too. So if you could share the stream, that would be really, really helpful. We also want to thank, Matt, our top fans. So Facebook has this cool thing, and they're not, once again, not top fans of us, but that's not the right thing at all. Not top fans of us, but top fans of kind of coming and hanging out. I want to thank Dave Mulligan, who's a new top fan, Gary J, Hans Martin, Randy Burks, Royce Eddings, Cindy Kane, or Candy Kane, I should say, Joel Goldenberg, Joseph from Manhattan. Again, this is 3 weeks for him. Those are our new top fans, so we really appreciate you as well, folks that are hanging out on our page, on our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group, so go check out our Facebook group. We have our polls on there. So
and
once
thank
again,
you.
just a big thank you.
And I wanted to say Rainbow's on. Hello, Rainbow. Check
Hi,
out her
Rainbow.
stuff. She reads from her book. It's pretty cool.
She's got a great stream going.
Yeah.
And she reads from her book. Who, by the way, that book will be a Broadway show someday. And Rainbow, we better get front row seats. That's all I'm saying. saying.
Yeah, we want backstage passes.
Oh, we
too.
want backstage. We want to be in it. We want to star in it. Can we star in it? I'll be Carl.
I can do like one of these on stage. You know what I mean? And I wanted to shout out Eddie Finley, who's on here. Eddie joins us sometimes, but Eddie, you have some great, really beautiful posts on Facebook. In fact, a lot of the time when I learn when the album's been released and stuff, it's because of your posts. So I appreciate that. So very good information.
Cool. Hey,
so thank you for that. And thanks for being here.
Will Harris is with us too. Hey, Will, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. If we don't catch you in the chat, if we don't say hi, make sure you mention something in the chat, because we want to say hi to everybody, because we've got a really fun group here. For those of you that are new, this is an awesome group of people we have in the chat just over here. So go hang out with these people, get to know them. They're
Rainbow.
really
We'll have
people.
tickets at Will Call. No, you got to give them to us in person when you take us out to dinner and stuff. When you're making tons of bank. What do you mean Will Call?
Rainbow, how dare you? How dare you? We had you on the show. Will Call? We don't even want. Never mind. We don't even want it. No, we want to be in the show. We want to be on Broadway. Okay, we want to. I'm just kidding. We're kidding, Rainbow, of course. But no, you guys are so much fun. We really appreciate it. We definitely missed this last week. I think we miss it every week. Talking about our anybody. By the way, real quick, anybody checking out that Sirius station? They did it a few years ago, and I loved it when I had Sirius. I don't have Sirius in my car. But Matt, do you have Sirius Radio?
I don't have it anymore. I used to have it too, and I got rid of it. And I wish I had it, because I remember the same thing when that station was on. It was awesome, and I heard
really cool
a lot of songs for the first time. They play a lot of really deep, different stuff on there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd love to know who's behind decide. I don't know if it's randomized or if someone is there, if there's actually a disc jockey behind that making the decisions. But would be interested on your thoughts on it. I don't understand. They have Pink Floyd radio. They have Beatles radio. They have all these, like, some obscure bands.
They even have like Dave Matthews.
I know.
Band,
how do you not have
Bruce Springsteen? And
how do you not have Beach Boys radio? Like
America's band, man.
I know, but maybe it's because you and I just said we don't have Sirius radio, so maybe that's why. But that could be part of it. But
I wanted to give a shout out to Theodore. He's back with us. Hey Theodore, hope you're doing well.
Hope you're feeling well.
We'll see him next week. Yeah.
Denise, man, Denise looks like she needs some get well wishes. She looks like she looks like she got scratched. I don't know what happened to her, but we much love to Denise. And hey, Les is in the house. Les Hastings. Les is a very good friend of the show.
Hey, Les.
Les is the guy. If you ever see a cool Beach Boys photo that's been colorized and high def.
Can I show that now?
Not yet. Les, we're gonna. I think we should save it because it's super cool. But anyway, everybody check out Les's stuff. Les is awesome. But, ladies and gentlemen.
And Les, we know that. Oh, sorry. Real quick. We know that Sirius station's coming, but Les's station's going to be even better when it's up and running. His Endless Summer Radio. I can't wait for that.
Damn right. Yeah. Way better.
And Les, we got to have you on the show when it's up and running, too. You could tell us about it and stuff. It'd be awesome. So
we've been trying to get Les on the show for the past 8 months, and he's turned us down every time.
He says, I'll have my people call your people, but we don't have any people, so that's a problem.
Yeah, we don't. That's exactly right. We do not have people. We are the people. So, Les, if you could just go ahead and call us, that'd be great. Stop the cat and mouse game that you're playing over there. All right, Matt, it is time for my favorite segment, and hopefully some people's favorite segment. But it's time. Let's do this right now. You guys ready? All right. In 3, 2, 1. The many moods of
Today, first I want to give a shout out to, as I mentioned before, today is the anniversary of the release of All Summer Long, Beach Boys' 1964 album. Not only is it a beautiful album with All Summer Long, and of course their first #1 hit, I Get Around, Wendy, Little Honda. You know, it's significant because it was the first album that came out. Hushabye, yeah, my favorite cover.
Don't Back Down.
It's actually significant for a few reasons for me. The first reason is because.
Do you remember?
Drive-In, yeah. We'll Run Away. Anyway, it's significant to me because the first
I Get Around.
I said that. You want okay? Many moods of Greg time. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry. Okay, go. Sorry.
Well, anyway, it was the first album that came out after the British invasion, which is very important. It showed that the Beach Boys could still kind of stay after that storm. Another reason it's significant is because it's one of the records that my mom had when I was a kid. And when I heard the Beach Boys on the radio for the first time, then I saw her records, and she actually had an original vinyl of All Summer Long. I wish I still had it.
Yeah,
so it's an album that I know very, very well and I love. So I wanted to give that a shout out. If you don't know that album well, look it up, listen to it. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. Yesterday was the anniversary of Brian Wilson's solo album, just called Brian Wilson, from 1988. And I kind of wanted to focus on that tonight. I got a few things to say about it, and then I have a thought. First thing is, there's some beautiful music on there. Love and Mercy, Melt Away, Let It Shine. There's so many. There's a lot of Rio Grande, of course, is the long, like 10-minute kind of sweet, kind of Smile-esque in a way. So Brian's there, you know. But when I listen to it, because I listened to it again, and there's just something off about it. And I think I've come to a realization that I might get in trouble for this, but I think Brian needs the Beach Boys, right? So in other words, I think that album is so good, but it's missing those Beach Boys voices. It's missing those harmonies. Can you imagine Carl Wilson singing Melt Away on there, you know, Al Jardine, all those voices. Mm-hmm. And I often wonder, with all of Brian Wilson's solo albums, they're all very good, in my opinion. In fact, I think the Lucky Old Sun, Imagination, No Peer Pressure are some of his best. But I feel like if he had the Beach Boys voices in there, those albums would have risen to the top. And let me tell you why. Right around the time Brian Wilson 88 came out, the Beach Boys put out a very, very famous song called Kokomo, right? And it shot to #1 after 30 years. It was really an amazing feat. Mm-hmm. And then the year later, they put out the album Still Cruisin', which was only half, you know, it was like half songs that were in movies. And then I think Brian and Al added a song. But then the second half were songs that were in movies, but they were from the 60s. So it didn't even have a whole album of original content, and it did better than Brian Wilson 88 on the charts. And I don't think it's a better album. In fact, I will say that I think Brian Wilson 88 is better than any Beach Boy album that came out in the 80s. I will say that for sure as well.
God, dude, I'm turning this off. You are done. I'm cutting.
But I will say
no
the one.
Way, dude.
No by the way, Angelica's here. Hello, Angelica, and hello.
Hey! No, you can't say. How is that? No, dude. Sorry. Keep going, and then I will destroy that because there's no way that's possible.
All right. Well, anyway, I think it's the best Beach Boys related album of the 80s. And I think it would have been better, but I do think it would have been better, and it would have been a top 10 album if it had first of all, if it had the Beach Boys name on it, and it had the Beach Boy voices on it. So as much as the Beach Boys need Brian as their primary songwriter, arranger, producer, it made me realize that Brian probably needs them as well, because it's not the same without their voices. Those layered Brian Wilson voices are pretty neat to hear. And, you know, but especially in 88, his voice wasn't even that good at that point. I just, you know, I like that authentic sound of Mike, Bruce, Carl, and Al in the mix, and it's not there. And I feel like it's lacking because of that. But composition-wise, Song-wise, it's the best album the Beach Boys put out. I mean, any Beach Boy put out in the 80s. And I don't know what you think about that, but later tonight, I will kind of posit that on the Endless Harmony board, and, well, we can go at it over there, but that's what I have to say today. The many moods of man.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was nice.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, no way. I don't know what you are doing. I don't know what you're talking about. Beach Boy 80. You're saying Brian Wilson 85 or 88? Is it 88?
Yeah, 88.
I'm thinking of Beach Boys 85. Well, that's another album.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, you're saying that Brian Wilson 88 is better than anything the Beach Boys put out in the 80s.
It's better than Keeping the Summer Alive. It's better than Beach Boys 85, and it's better than Still Cruising. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Dude.
But,
I feel like you're just saying that to like ruffle feathers.
The only thing that it's lacking is that Beach Boys sound, you know. And I think it would have been a huge hit if it was a follow-up to the 85 album and it said, you know, 90% of the songs written by Brian Wilson.
All right, let me put you on the spot. What song off that album would be the Beach Boys single?
I think Melt Away would have been great with Carl and Lee. As I mentioned, I said Melt Away would be a great. I think Walk the Line would have been cool with Al singing lead on that one, and Trading Things. There's a lot of neat. That album kind of reminds me of a Love You Part 2 in a way, right? It's still going to be Brian's baby. It's Brian's thoughts at the time. But again, with those Beach Boy voices on there, it would just enhance it so much.
Dude, take
it to that next level.
There are so many reasons why that is not even correct. And Theodore brings up a good point. Brian Wilson 88 is like Landy. It's Brian Wilson / Landy. So congrats. You just said that a Landy album.
Well, the music's not Landy. Some of the lyrics were Landy.
Let me share with you the list of let's just take Keeping the Summer Alive. Keeping the Summer Alive, Some of Your Love, Sunshine, Santa Ana Winds. Oh, Darling, Living with a Heartache.
Going on, of course.
Going. I didn't even get to Going On.
Going On.
You still want to say this.
Going On's probably a better song than any one song on that album. But I'm talking about as a complete album. Rio Grande is really pretty genius. He's very, very close to getting to that smile. The part in the middle there, the river music in there. I want the river to take me home. It's so great. It's awesome. And of course, I love Let It Shine. And I feel like one of the weak things on Let It Shine is Brian's lead vocal. I just feel like if they had the Beach Boys singing on that album, it would have been their best selling album of the 80s too, is what I'm saying.
What are you talking about? There's no way that
I am right. Close. Chad, what do y'all think? Get my back here. I've been getting beat up on these things lately. So
dude,
it doesn't mean I don't like the other Beach Boy albums.
We know that's not what you're saying. What you're saying is way more ridiculous. What you're saying is that Brian Wilson 88, if it had the Beach Boys on it, would be better than any other Beach Boy 80s album, correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said.
Matt, I will Venmo you 10 out. Man, I almost want to say $100.
Bradley Cooper agrees with me. Thank you, Bradley. Are you the actor, Bradley Cooper?
Oh my gosh, I loved you in Hangover. What was the movie Bradley Cooper?
That one with Robert De Niro? Yeah, that one's awesome.
What was the Bradley Cooper movie where he takes the pills?
Yeah, that's the one with Robert De Niro, but I don't know what the name of it is.
I love that movie. Sorry, taking pills is not great, but what?
Susan agrees with me too.
Limitless.
All right, Limitless. Yeah.
All right, Susan. Okay, for the two people that agree with Matt, I don't understand how.
Eddie said my vocal assignments to those songs are spot on. See, he could hear Carl singing those tunes as well.
But they didn't. But you could say "Smile" would have been the greatest album of all time, but it wasn't. You know? What I mean?
I'm saying if the Beach Boys sang on it, it would have been their best selling album. But what I'm saying is, I still think it's the best album of the '80s of Beach Boy related material. Yeah,
dude, no way you're saying this. That's like. I feel like you're just trying to get me upset because that is not even.
Well, what you don't? Do you not like that album?
Going on is all I have to say. That's like if it's not even nothing on that record is even remotely close to Going On, and that is the Beach Boys. How do you go ahead, Matt? What's your rebuttal to that? Because you don't.
Taylor says he agrees with me. Russ and Tracy agree with me. You're going. I think Les agrees with me too. I think you're going down in this one, my friend.
Russ and Tracy, Matt is so right on this.
Sue said no. Sorry, Matt. So
I don't think they understand what you're saying. I don't think they truly understand what you're saying. What Matt is saying is that Brian Wilson 88, which by the way is the worst, probably the worst album any Beach Boy has ever put out ever.
Wow, that you got to do a mini moves. There's no way.
Oh, dude, it is awful.
What are you talking about? Have you heard the tag on Melt Away is like perfection. Perfection.
Matt,
Love and Mercy. Love and Mercy.
You ready?
The middle part in Love and Mercy.
Nighttime.
I like Nighttime.
That is the worst song anyone has ever written. I'm sorry. No, Brian Wilson is great.
Shines a little too bright.
Dude, what's in that cup? What's in that cup? I think it's a lot of
Mountain Dew.
No, you know what it is? It's Brian Wilson juice is what it is, dude.
Don said, no way, Mike's solo album is the worst. Yeah, Looking Back with Love. You think that's better than Brian Wilson 88?
Calendar Girl. Dude, Calendar Girl is better. Dude, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding right now. Look,
okay.
I'm a Brian Wilson fanboy. I love all the Beach Boys. Mike Love's solo album is way better than Brian Wilson 88. By far, dude.
Nolan Carr says Summer in Paradise is far worse than Brian Wilson's 88. Oh, Christian says nothing on Brian's album comes close to Where I Belong. That's going to be hard to disagree with. Where I Belong is a great song. In fact, we interviewed the co-writer of that.
Robert White Johnson wrote it. Yeah. He wrote it with
But
Carl.
Again, I didn't say
Yes, you did.
I said it's the best album. That doesn't mean that every song is superior to every other song in the 80s. But think about this. If you put Brian Wilson 88 together with the best songs from like the Still Cruising album, and the Beach Boys sang it all, that would have been like their greatest album since the 60s. That's what I'm saying. The music is that good.
Matt, no one can argue with you about like something that hasn't happened yet. But what you did say that we can argue with is that as it stands right now. Stop. No.
Dirk said, "What are you smoking? I want some."
No, Matt. Right.
Oh,
exactly.
Go in Public by Les Hastings. Said that by Bruce. That's worse too. So your statement that Brian Wilson 88 is the worst solo album of any Beach Boy is a little bit far out there.
Matt,
so you think Go in Public is better?
Matt, no. Hold on. Just to go back, and I'm sorry if we're going on this. By the way, D. Bresci on YouTube says Melt Away just as many high spots as Going On. I can't
Thank
do
you.
this.
I agree. I agree.
I'm having a panic attack right now. There's no way you people agree. Like, there's no way you agree with him on this. That's like not even possible. Matt, you actually said that forget if the Beach Boys had sang on it, right? Had sung on it. You're saying that as it sits right now, it's better than any Beach Boy 80s album.
I am. The other thing I added was if the Beach Boys sang on that album, it would have been a top 10 album in the 80s. That's what I said. So I'm saying two things. I'm saying it's the best anyway.
I don't care about that because it's hypothetical. Like, yes,
yeah.
Of course.
Okay, well, forget about that. Yes, it's the best album of the 80s by any, Beach Boy related thing.
Dude, dude, what about Youngblood, man?
Yeah,
Youngblood, Carl Wilson. What
it's
about
good,
Carl Wilson?
but it's not as good as Brian Wilson's original songs on. Meet Me in My Dreams Tonight is one of the coolest songs ever. It's got that wall of sound. Meet me in my dreams tonight. Yeah,
Matt, it's not
such a good album,
Matt,
man.
It's not even the best of the individual Beach Boys output of that time. Forget. Like, it's of the solo albums. It's not even the best there. It's not even close, actually, because you have Dennis. When did Dennis put out Pacific Ocean Blue?
77, I think.
Oh, damn, you got lucky there. But Carl,
I said what I said.
I just can't believe how many people are agreeing with you because Brandon agrees with you.
Well, Greg, I think you need to give it another listen. I think that's the problem.
No,
if you got it, I'm telling you.
No, you just need to read more. No.
I'm saying you got to get past Brian's kind of shouty 88 vocal, and you got to listen to the arrangements and the music.
Brian's vocal on that record is absolutely
terrifyingly
awful.
But I'm talking about the songwriting, the songs themselves, and all that. It's the best. Dirk said, "Meet Me in My Dreams Tonight" would have been a perfect vehicle for the Beach Boys. Yeah, it would have been. That's what I mean. Their harmony in the background would have enhanced it so much. So.
But that's not what you're saying. You're saying Brian Wilson 88 is better than anything anybody Beach Boy related put out in the 80s.
I said it's better than Keeping the Summer Alive, Beach Boy 85, and Still Cruising. Yes. And I'm sticking to that.
That's like
anyway.
I have nothing to say to that.
Okay.
Look at beat like.
But
80,
at the same,
85 album. How do you discount all the great tunes on there?
Again, I'm not discounting. You make it because I don't think it's the best one means I don't like it. That's not what I said.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's
Don't
what you
change the
just
argument.
asked me. And
No,
also,
I did not.
but I also said the other point of my rant was that as good as that album is in the songwriting and the melodies and the arrangements, I think that it showed though that Brian needs the Beach Boys, that he's better in the band than he is as a solo artist. And that was the other point that I was trying to make. And I don't know if people agree with me on that, but all Brian Wilson's solo albums, if you had the Beach Boys singing on them, would have been way better is what I'm saying.
Kyle Young on Facebook has a great take. It says, even if it is better than those 3 albums, Beach Boys albums, it's still a pretty bad album, unfortunately. Dude, it is
okay, well, that
bad.
could be.
It is bad. Yeah, it is really bad. Yeah,
Dirk said, I agree, Matt.
Allison
Great
says,
songs, lousy singing.
Going on by itself is superior to anything even remotely close to Brian Wilson 88. How do you can't argue with that. You just can't.
It's one song though. I'm not arguing with that. I think Kokomo is a great song too, but that doesn't mean that album that Kokomo's on is better because it has Kokomo on it. That's not logical. That doesn't make any sense. So, right? Like, you know what I mean?
C. Arthur Hayes on Facebook says Love and Mercy is gospel. Was Love and Mercy on that album?
Yeah, That was the lead single, Love and Mercy.
Right. Emily on YouTube. Hi, Emily. I personally think She Believes in Love Again is underrated on Beach Boy 85. Dude, 85 is an awesome record. And we talked with Robert about that. Dude, there's some great tunes on. Allison says Still Cruise. What about, is Still Cruise in the 90s?
But Still Allison,
Cruising
no,
might
it's
be
89.
90s.
But I said Still Cruising. I mentioned that album like 3 times.
In my car?
I like Still Cruising. Yeah, but half the album is hits from the 60s. It only has like 5 new songs on it.
Matt,
so to me, it's disqualified.
That's how bad Brian Wilson 88 is. That's how bad is even covers from the 60s are better than anything on that record.
Okay. Well, yeah, California Girls is better. You're right, but that's not new. That's like saying The Sounds of Summer is better than Brian Wilson 88. Well, yeah, of course it is. But again, that's
right.
not what I'm saying. I'm talking about albums with new material. The best one is Brian Wilson 88. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I said the whole time. So,
man, I hate
Problem
this.
Child is better than BW 88. Come on.
That's an awesome
what Kyle
song.
said.
Who likes to grow up? Who wants responsibility?
Well, anyway, it sounds like we're going to have a good conversation later on. Endless Harmony.
Man, I forgot to. I'm so dumb. Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm not actually. We talked about everybody. Go over to Endless Harmony, the forum. Matt's going to continue this conversation, and I plan on posting a paragraph and a research paper over there on why Matt is very incorrect. But Matt, it's not even the. Oh man, I can't. It's not even the best of. It's the worst of Brian Wilson's solo records.
But again, that's not what I'm arguing. I said it's the best album any Beach Boy kind of group put out in the 80s is what I said. I think Brian Wilson's best it's hard, but I love Imagination, and I think that Lucky Old Son's awesome. I like the Gershwin album, but I know that's more covers, and I like No Peer Pressure. So I'm not saying it's his best solo album. What I'm saying is it's the best Beach Boy related record to come out in the 80s, and I'm standing by that. So
all right.
So
all right. Well,
anyway.
we need to move on because we have. So we need to talk about, and we did a poll. So our poll this week, everybody, was your top 5 favorite. As we kind of shift over to Mike Love's kind of centered. Stuff.
Oh wait, can I one more? I'm sorry. Bobby said Brian Wilson's first solo album is more creative than the Beach Boys' 80s albums. Rio Grande is an epic song. Thank you. Hey Rick, Rick's here too. Thank you.
Well, Bobby,
So
nobody asked what you thought, so there you go, Bobby.
Well, yeah, we did.
I'm just kidding, Bobby. We love you. Thank you for being here. But I'm upset about that take. Everybody, we did a poll on our Facebook group, and if you're not a member of our Facebook group, go check it out right now. Just Beach Boys Talk. We did a poll, and this is what the poll looks like. We did your favorite Mike Love lead vocals, and this was the result of our poll here. I get around at number 1. All I want to do right there, 1, 2. I was surprised by number 3, Matt. Big Sur.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been pushed a little bit by the recent release of the box set kind of sneak peek. But number 4, my choice, and you can see my two choices on there. But Meant for You, the first one of the best album openers in my opinion. Then That's Not Me from Pet Sounds, followed by Kokomo, Do It Again, Here Today, and I think Little Do Scoop will round out our top 10. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Right, and then Aren't You Glad just after that. But Matt, what are your favorite Brian Wilson Mike Love lead vocals? I'm still thinking about the worst take I've ever heard in my entire life. But what are your favorite Mike Love lead vocals?
I do want to say that one of the neat things about doing these polls is it's humbling in a way because I forgot like a ton of songs.
Yeah,
so that was
people
the first
add.
thing. But then it made me realize how many lead vocals Mike Love has, and I don't know a lot about other bands. I know Frankie Valli sings the lead in most of his songs, but Mike Love has so many lead vocals, and again, the Beach Boys are not that sound without his voice, and I'll give him that forever. That iconic sound is because of Mike Love, which why he should have sang on BW88. It would have sounded better. But anyway, all right. So my top 5.
All right, Matt, your top 5. What are your top 5?
My number 5. I picked this one because again, when I was a kid, it was one of the first Beach Boys songs. I think I'm dating myself here. I think I was 8 when it came out, 7 or 8. And it's Kokomo. I love Mike Love's Still Cruising era voice. He kind of whispers a little bit, he sings softer. He's not forcing it. He's not pushing, So I really think Kokomo's a great vocal. Yeah.
Okay, Kokomo.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me, it's the most iconic Beach Boys sound you can get. And I think in that era of the Mike Love, that era, I Get Around is one of his best vocals, of course.
Okay,
it's an iconic song, but
yep, iconic for sure. Yeah, and that was number 1 on our poll. All right, so number 3.
Yeah, number 3 for me, it has always been one of my favorite Mike Love vocals. In fact, when I first heard the song when I was younger, I didn't even know it was Mike. I couldn't believe it when I found out it was Mike, and that's Aren't You Glad from the Wild Honey album.
Isn't that cool? It does not, it's like a different person.
It's a totally different voice, a different tone, everything, And I think part of it is that it's not double tracked. You know how a lot of their songs in the 60s before that were double tracked or triple tracked, right? So they sound fuller, but it was just Mike singing by himself there. And his voice has a different tone to it. I really like that.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to play that one?
No, let's go through the top 5 and then we'll do a little bit in a second.
Okay. Number 2 for me. It's so short, but again, it's that voice that he had. His best vocal time for me was 67 to, 72-ish, whatever. And that's Meant for You from the Friends album. The glorious opening of the Beach Boys Friends album is my number 2. And then my number 1, in fact, this is going to be interesting because, in the Feel Flows box set, this is going to be out again. But to me, Mike Love's voice doesn't get any better than the emotion he shows on this song, the tone. He even sings high, even sings some falsetto, and that's All I Want to Do from the Sunflower album.
Yeah, pretty cool. So,
love that one.
By the way, Sue, huge friend of the show. Sue's got to go. We love you, Sue, for joining us from Australia. Sue. We love you. Have a great night or a great day. Sue is having a great day. That's what Sue's going to have. Interesting. Yeah, nothing too surprising in your list there. I think kind of par for the course. My number 5 is Girl from New York City. From the Summer Days and Summer Nights album. All I Want to Do, I think we agree on that one. Going On, I know that's a weird one because technically all the verses are done with some harmony, but he's singing the main line on Going On, and it's pretty, it moves around a lot, and I think he sounds great on it. Meant for You to me is number 2, and one of my favorite album openers. I put it up there with like Our Prayer, Would It Be Nice kind of thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then number 1 for me, which I was really bummed to see it not do well in the polls, and that was Aren't You Glad. Matt, I totally agree with you on that Aren't You Glad it's a different level of Mike Love vocal, and I wish he would have maybe explored that a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a great
He kind of did on Friends. His Annalie the Healer vocals kind of like that. He's got that voice,
Yeah.
But then when you get back into... But then in like 70, 71, those he didn't sing a lot of leads on those albums, so he didn't have a big opportunity because on the 2020 album, he sang "Do It Again," but I think other than that, he doesn't have a lot to sing, you know. And that was again double tracked. It was kind of a throwback to the '60s. But when you think about "Sunflower," "Surfs Up," and "Carl and the Passions" in Holland, he's got like Big Sur, you know. Again, he's got that nice voice in the California Saga and stuff, but he actually didn't sing as many leads on those albums, you know. So, which is interesting. Yeah.
And to be honest, I would say that I think this is where Mike gets overlooked time and time again. You know, we always talk about Mike and the controversy surrounding the songwriting, you know, and the kind of the antics on stage, good or bad, right? I mean, he's a front man, so look at Mick Jagger. People love that stuff. Why don't people love Mike Love doing it? But I think what is often overlooked is Mike's musical output, you know, especially when you look at the Friends album, just from a vocal standpoint. I think it's his most, I mean, and then like like Big Sur, like he was just as much a part of, you know, kind of helping them branch out their sound and try different things. And he was all in, and his voice on that stuff is awesome. I just, like I said, my only complaint is that they didn't do more with that. Like they didn't let him kind of explore more with that vocal, because I think it would have been really cool.
That, like I said, to me, that's his best vocal period, like 67 to 70. Those records, yeah.
Yeah, and you love the "I Get Around," the fun, right, all summer long. Like his vocal on that is classic Mike Love. But once again, I think, like we were saying, I think overlooked is his period where he was really. I'd love to talk to him. I mean, we'd love to have Mike on the show. It'll probably never happen, you know, because, you know, for whatever reason he's busy. But I'd love to ask him, in his mindset, was he experimenting with something else? Was his voice just super mature at that time? You know, I always wonder, you know, because it's so different. Was he trying to do something different, or was it just, hey, this is Mike Love in 1969. This is what he sounded like, you know?
Yeah, it's and I also wonder too, like what I said a little bit before. Does it have to do with the single tracking too? Because it does change the tone, right? So you actually hear like his real natural voice. You know what I mean? So like "I'm Meant for You" and "Anna Lee the Healer" and you know, "Aren't You Glad?" And even "All I Want to Do," I think all those are just kind of single track. And I just think it makes his voice it sounds different. It's very pleasant, though, you know. Not that it's not pleasant the other way, but it doesn't sound like the same guy almost, you know.
Yeah, and what's interesting is there's two songs called "All I Want to Do," right? Isn't that right? Am I right?
There's one called "All I Want to Do."
Yeah, why
from
did
the 2020 album. That Mike sings the lead on that one too, but I actually don't like that one. When we do our one episode we're going to do in the future, I'll talk about that song. But "All I Want to Do" is really kind of, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but it sounds, you know, all the vibes in it, the vibrations and whatever you call it. And it's a good Brian and Mike tune. It's one of my favorites, actually.
All I wanna do is always been good to you and give you all the love that I can, help you in whatever you do. Sure as the sun to come on again, starting up another day. You can be sure that in my heart and soul I love you in every way. All I wanna do is bring happiness to you. I hope it makes you happy to know my love's with you wherever you go. Ooh, when I sit and close my eye, gentle thought comes in my eye. My love is burning brightly like the birthday shining nightly. All I wanna do, all I wanna do.
Yeah, man. First of all, great job. But
Oh man, that song is so cool, man.
it really is, and it's one. I was trying to find the word was like sonic. It's got like something like really like sonic about it that's different.
Yeah.
But I love that song. It's a Wilson Love collaboration too, which is cool.
Yeah.
And Mike just kills it. And then when Brian comes in at the my love, he's got hit. It's like that Beach Boys sound, but it was modern for the time. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah.
You could tell it was the Beach Boys, but it was different. If that makes sense.
Probably probably besides Our Sweet Love, like that era, love that song, and it kind of reminds me of like the Till I Die type. Like it's like it's the Beach Boys at that time. You know, if you take the Beach Boys from like the Today album, they're still doing it, you know, and they're still putting out some good music there. So, but chat, everybody in the chat, what are your favorite Mike Love lead vocals? We would love to know, and maybe we'll sing some of it. I know I want to sing "Aren't You Glad" because it's probably one of my favorite songs that Mike sings. So, chat, if you have a favorite Mike Love lead vocal, we'd love to know what that is. So put it in the chat.
Yeah, let's hear him. He's got so many.
He does. Yeah. Yeah.
I know Les said ding dang, but I think he was kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, Les, that's not happening. So stop. You stop that right now.
Don said Johnny Carson, just kidding. But that's an interesting song.
He sits up on his microphone. Johnny Carson. He speaks in such a manly tone. Don says 409. Really? I think 409's got to be one of his worst. But hey, everybody has their own. Fun. Oh, rock and roll music. That is such a great vocal from Mike. I love that vocal. Good call, Don. Joey says it's okay. Yeah, man. Great song. Fun is in, it's no sin. It's that time again to change your load. Hit the road on a run again. Summer skies in our eyes and a warmer sun. This one for all for one, all for all out fun. Matt, sing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I love It's Okay. Dirk says California Girls. Man.
Yeah, that's another one. He's really good on that one. Yep.
That's a classic. Claire says, did someone mention Dig Dang? Claire, get out of here. Stop it. Eddie Finley says, when girls get together. Okay, good. I'm glad he put kidding after that because that is.
Somewhere near Japan. I know you like that one. Bobby said somewhere near Japan.
I love Somewhere Near Japan.
Late last night, I got an SOS. Yeah, that's a good one. And he's got that Kokomo voice I was talking about on those songs. I like those. Yeah. That one and Still Cruising.
Last night I got an SOS. Fairy tale girl got in distress. She says I don't know where I am, but it's near Japan.
And Carl comes in.
My engines are burned out. My crew is off. I don't know where I am. Somewhere near Japan.
How would that song not do better? That's an awesome. That song's Still Cruising.
Yep.
You still want to go with that crap?
Yeah. C. Arthur Hayes said Ogie from Muskogee. Yeah, they have that live recording that he actually sounds cool in that one. We don't smoke marijuana.
Yeah, his vocal on that concert is awesome. Yeah,
that Central Park one is the one I remember. Yeah.
Stephen Wells says Big Sur. Yeah, we were talking about that, and that did really well on the poll. Les Hastings says Little Do Scoop, fun. Rock and roll music again. Kona Coast, California Girls. Do I know Kona Coast?
Kona Coast is on
Paradise.
It's on MIU. I want to spend my weekend on the Kona Coast in Hawaii. I love MIU. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do a one. Beach Boys. Allison says Sumahama is good. I don't mind Sumahama.
Jeff said that too.
Jeff said Sumahama.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Michael Martin on Facebook. Hey, Michael.
Hey,
the echo on that track is amazing. I wonder if he's talking about All I Want to Do or maybe Somewhere Near Japan. Welcome, Michael. Glad you could join us. That's super cool. I love all these answers. Owen on Facebook. Hey, Owen. Glad to have you back.
Hey, Owen.
Sumahama, Don't Go Near the Water. Actually, Al, that's one of Al's worst vocals for sure.
He gets like mad in the middle of it.
He gets weird in the middle of it. But he's right though. Mike's vocal on "Don't Go Near the Water" is super cool.
It's that same kind of voice, that softer voice. You know what I mean? He's kind of chill. Yeah, I agree. Good call.
Yeah, that is a good call. So Abby, hi Abby on Facebook says, good
Hey,
evening.
Abby.
Hope you're all doing well. Abby, we are doing fantastic, and we are so honored and happy that you joined us. Very cool. Glad you're here. Let's see. Emily says there is a Beach Boys 60 magazine on newsstands at Barnes and Noble.
Really?
What? Wait.
She said
It was
it's $20,
printed in
but
England.
it's worth the money. Ooh,
Claire, where's our British correspondent?
I gotta buy that. Yeah.
We're going now to our British correspondent, Claire. Claire, where are you? Claire, are you out there on the field? Claire, do I have you? Claire, is this true? Is there a Beach Boys 60 magazine on newsstands? Who is it printed by? Is it like a People? What
could
would
be.
that? Oh, I'm so.
Hey, we have a new visitor. Michael Martin says, watching from Australia, really enjoying the
Michael.
show. DJ Les sent me here. Well, thank you for that, Les, and thank you for being here, Michael.
Well,
welcome.
Any friend of Les is a big friend of ours, good friend of ours.
That's right. And hello,
There is-
Stephen Amara. Hello.
There is on my Instagram. Emily, are we? I don't know if. So we're also on Instagram, Beach Boys Talk. Emily, are we friends on Instagram or whatever it's called? Because I would love to see that.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
let's look it up. I might go buy that tomorrow.
If you could message us on Facebook, we'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Click on my Instagram, print it up by Vince. Man, so cool. Anyway, going back, Dirk says Roller Skating Child is a great 70s lead vocal. Man, you know what? Mike just does not get enough love. I mean, all of these songs are awesome.
He has so many, right? That's the thing. Even Airplane on Love You's a great lead vocal too.
You know, Don says Pitter Patter. I know that's one of your favorite songs.
I love Pitter Patter. Mike and Al, man. I love that song. It looks like rain. It's coming.
It looks like rain. Yeah, that's a pretty
man,
cool.
I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah. Vanessa. Hey, everybody. Vanessa is new. Everybody say hi to Vanessa in the chat. Vanessa Guido. Hi from California.
Vanessa.
And I love Pet Sounds. Well, of course. Vanessa, Pet Sounds is awesome. Great pick. But, Vanessa, I have to ask you. Vanessa, what is your favorite album not Pet Sounds? What if we take Pet Sounds out of the equation? We make everybody answer that. So, Vanessa, welcome. We are so happy and honored that you are taking time out of your day. You all have better things to do right now. We know that. So we're excited. Mary Lou Thompson says, hi from Idaho, one of my favorite Four Seasons songs ever. Idaho.
Yeah.
Idaho. If you haven't heard the Four Seasons sing Idaho, you're missing out.
It's
Very
so
cool.
weird, but it's awesome. Yeah.
It is. Steve Sanderson says, tip Mike Love autobiography at Barnes & Noble on clearance, hardcover. Wow.
I haven't read that. I need to pick that up and read it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've been pretty bad at reading. I've been pretty bad at reading generally, but especially the autobiography stuff, Brian stuff, and
Dirk said Uncut has a big review of the Feel Flows box. Wow, what a good time to be a Beach Boys fan. Lots of stuff coming out here, huh?
Hey, Matt, will
and
you
now
hold
they're
down?
touring again?
Matt, will you hold down the fort for a second?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about this now. Our endless summer.
Oh, good idea. Okay,
Quarterly.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so everybody, David's not with us tonight, but David Beard is the editor of Endless Summer Quarterly. And the newest edition is Beach Boys Surf's Up 50th anniversary. And this is it right here. It's really cool. I've read through most of it. One of the things I wanted to say, I heard through a little birdie that this picture on the front originally is a black and white picture. And I heard it was colored by our friend Les Hastings, who's on the show with us tonight. So if that's true, everybody give him a big shout out because it looks really awesome. But anyway, in the magazine, it goes through all the songs on the Surf's Up album, and it actually has a story in here about the Radiant Radish as well, and Two-Lane Blacktop, Dennis's movie. So it's really cool. So if you haven't subscribed to Endless Summer Quarterly, make sure that you do because it's really cool. But again, congrats, Les, on this. It's really, really good looking stuff. And I wanted to do another little self-brag, Greg and I. If you get this and you open it up to a certain page, you're going to notice this nice thing right here.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can see it.
We'll be doing signings after the show. So if you want that signed by us, let us know.
I'll give you a discount, $5 a pop. So no, I'm kidding. But
Greg and I are $20. $20.
Greg and I are really honored to be in this publication. We know that Beach Boys fans, hardcore Beach Boys fans like us. I mean, I read this, these magazines 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And so to actually have my name in it, it's an honor. So,
and Matt,
but anyway, if you don't have this, get this. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't gotten mine yet in the mail. So maybe some people haven't gotten theirs. Matt, can you hold that up again? Did you talk about our next week's episode?
I didn't. Go ahead.
So next week, everybody, next Tuesday. By the way, we're running out of episodes because we're actually going to take a short break and we're going to end season 1. We're going to have a big season finale, and then we'll be back the beginning of next year. But next week, next Tuesday night, if you can join us, we're going to be doing an episode dedicated to the Surf's Up album. We're going to sing through all the songs on Surf's Up. It's one of my worst Beach Boys albums. I hate it, so I'm excited to learn more about it. And we're going to use the Endless Summer Quarterly publication kind of as a help as we talk through it. So next Tuesday night, grab a blanket.
David Beard will be in studio with Greg, actually.
Yeah, so. As of right now, David Beard is literally going to be right here. We're going to put him. I'm going to make him sit right next.
I'm not going to be there. I'm still going to be stuck in my hovel here. But
actually,
okay.
I'm going to make him straddle me. Like maybe he'll sit on my lap. Would that be cool? We could do that. It'd be kind of fun. Yeah, just kidding. That got real way too fast. Sorry. Okay, never mind. But Matt, we're kind of this has been awesome. I've really enjoyed the show so far. It's been a lot of fun, and we love you all. And we're getting ready, Matt. In fact, I might go ahead and make the call.
Let me read about him first before you make the call. Can I do that?
Well, let me get him on the line while you.
Oh, I got you.
Make sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute. I'll mute myself.
So everybody, just so you know, we're doing a phone call with Mr. Tommy Morgan today. He's not going to be on the screen, so we have to do it a little bit differently. But we are so excited. Oh, sorry. I thought I was muting because I'm going to get on the call. I can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, we're going to get Tommy Morgan. Now, Tommy Morgan, if you heard the iconic, again, harmonica and Good Vibrations, that's him. The bass harmonica solo, and I Know There's an Answer, that is Tommy Morgan. Friends, I believe, Passing By, the title track. He actually played on the Smile sessions, which is really cool. And we know that you can't hear Greg right now, everybody. He's trying to get Tommy on the phone. So we have to do something a little bit different. Also, Tommy Morgan played on That Lucky Old Sun. He did the solo in the song Going Home, too. So I'm interested to ask him about that. How was it working with Brian in the 60s versus the 2000s? We're really excited to have him coming on here. We don't have a tech problem right now. We just – no tech problem for us. We're just getting Tommy on the phone here, everybody. So just give us 1 minute.
Audio input. All right, everybody. We are so honored to have an absolute legend on our show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tommy Morgan, everybody, please say hi. How about some hellos in the chat for Tommy? Now, Tommy, you can't see this, but a lot of people saying hi to you right now. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Well, let me fix my brothers. So, Matt, you want to read a little bit about Tommy?
Sure. Tommy Morgan's session was in September 1950 with the Andrews Sisters. I believe he was a teenager then. He has played on so many iconic songs. For instance, in the opening to Green Acres, Sanford and Son, the Waltons, the Rockford Five, the Dukes of Hazzard, the Newhart Show, just to name a few. He's also played on hits with the Carpenters, Rainy Days and Mondays, of course, the Beach Boys, Good Vibrations. He's played with Barbra Streisand. He played on He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother by the Hollies.
Yeah.
He's played in over 7,000 sessions. He's also played in over 600 motion pictures. Tommy Morgan's also a composer and has written scores for, among other shows, The Twilight Zone. I could go on and on. Make sure you go to his website, TommyMorganHarmonica.com, to read more about this legendary man we have on the phone. So thank you for being here on Beach Boys Talk, Tommy. It truly is a thrill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Tommy, I guess we always start out our show because it's a little Beach Boys centric. Do you have a favorite Beach Boy song or Beach Boy album?
Well, I worked on several.
Right.
That sounds being, the most foremost album, I guess. And of course, Good Vibrations for a single.
Yeah. Amazing work on.
And I was on the original Smile.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, you were on the original Smile tapes, and we have questions about that too. Man, this is so. I'm getting goosebumps talking with you, Tommy. It's an absolute honor. That's wonderful. Now, how can you maybe talk us through a little bit how you got eventually to work with Brian and the Beach Boys? I know you said you were with the Andrews Sisters, or I believe the Andrews, but can you kind of talk us? Were you playing harmonica in school? When did you pick up the harmonica?
Well, I picked up harmonica when I was between 2 and 4.
Wow.
More years ago than I can count at this point.
Yeah. Now, did you play in school at all, or how did you go from playing from 2 to 4 to being a professional musician with some of the best in L.A.?
Actually, in those days, when I was in elementary school, a third grade teacher started a harmonica band course after school as an extracurricular.
Uh-huh.
And so I was in the second grade and couldn't qualify for the third grade, but she let me audition, and since I'd actually started playing piano before I could read on harmonica, so I knew about as much as she did, I guess, and so she let me come into the class.
Awesome. So then, so after school, when school's over, so you're done with school, you've aged out, right? How do you get to playing with some of the biggest artists of that time? How did you go from playing in school to now you're playing with the biggest artist?
Well, when I was 12, I started studying with Jerry Adler, Larry Adler's brother.
Yeah.
Who was himself a very good harmonica player. I met Jerry, and he took me on as a student. No money. He just said, if you want to study with me, he'd be delighted to teach. So I did. And then I was still studying with him, and that's when I was 17. Jerry got a call for a record date with the Andrews Sisters, and he was going to be out of town. So Decca Records asked him, do you know a harmonica player who can play the session? Jerry recommended me.
Wow.
And so at 17, I, on shaky legs, walked into, Decca Records in Hollywood and played my first date.
Wow.
And from then on, I did a few sessions here and there. And then after graduating high school and graduating UCLA, I did my stint in the Air Force, and I came back home and went back to school in graduate school at UCLA to earn a master's degree in composition.
Oh, wow.
And I started doing some sessions again, and working with Carol Fay and the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
And Al Blaine and Carol started recommending me to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I started working with Brian. Hal was contracting those days a little bit, and he called me to do sessions with the Beach Boys.
Wow.
And that was my introduction to those guys.
That is just amazing story. I can't believe it at 17. I mean, that's so young, and you have, I mean, it's just incredible story.
Tommy,
yeah,
Tommy, this is Matt. When you first met Brian and you were asked to play, did Brian have a certain harmonica in mind, or did you have to kind of show him a couple different kinds of harmonicas and sounds, and he picked one, or how did that work?
You're exactly right, and put your finger on it, that I had to kind of give him a quick course in what the harmonica could do.
Cool.
In fact, a small album, I used a lot of chromatic with electric equipment on it, and then when Brian got around and he heard the bass harmonica, that was it.
The bass harmonica.
Yes, bass harmonica. Never been used in rock records before.
Really?
Yeah, you probably have the first solo on I Know There's an Answer. That's probably the first time that's ever been a solo on a pop record. Yeah, and it's awesome too, by the way.
Oh yeah, you absolutely.
Thank you. That's the best of my knowledge. That is the first solo.
Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah, it is. Hey, what am I talking about? Tommy, going back to the Wrecking Crew folks with Carol and Hal. I always wondered with the Wrecking Crew, was it a case of you just happened to keep getting booked together, or were you guys booked as a team?
No, we all booked individually, and each orchestra was kind of handcrafted. And but what they did is they booked Hal and Carol together, of course, and then Jay McGlory and whomever Ray Pullman was involved.
Right.
And I did the harmonica stuff, so when they had a harmonica, then I was involved.
Yeah. Okay, so you were just the
guy. A picture of me that a friend of mine took off the screen of the Wrecking Crew movie, and I'm sitting in the band, and shows Brian is kind of leaning back in a chair, leaning back on, elbows and stuff. And I look about 12 years old, but and there is an early picture that exists. But when he heard the bass harmonica, that was it for him.
Yeah, that's so. Speaking of that, how did Brian kind of work in the studio? What was his process? What was it like to watch him in his process? And was it different from other artists? Because you've worked with some of the best in the industry. Was there a difference?
He was very different.
Okay. In what ways do you think he was different?
Well, when you did a session, you walked in and you sat down in front of a music stand that had a blank piece of music paper on it, and nothing written. Okay. So Brian would come by when it was your time to start playing. He'd come down by and sing what he wanted you to play. So he didn't write it down for you, but he knew exactly what he wanted it and said. He was a brilliant guy, really. And when he got to bass harmonica, he can do certain things very well, and it has certain limitations. And he accepted all that as, hey, this is the bass harmonica, this is what it can do. And so he adapted what he had in his head to what the bass harmonica could do. He was a genius at that. Biggest thing about Brian was he had great focus in those days.
Yeah.
His attention span was very, very, very high, and focused on what he was doing. I found out very early on he'd give me a line to play, and like on the second verse or so, by the time he got to the third verse, I asked Brian, do you want me to loosen up a little bit and add a few notes? And the answer came back, no, I want you to play what I gave you. And because he knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wants you fooling around over here.
That's interesting. Yeah.
A lot's been said, especially as we're fans of the Beach Boys, about the Smile era, and the Smile album ended up not coming out, but some of the songs came out on subsequent albums. When you were working with Brian during the Smile era versus the Pet Sounds era, did you see much of a change, or was Brian still kind of in control in the studio during the Smile stuff?
Brian was in control. He walked in, he was in control.
Uh-huh.
And then he had the respect of the musicians, so the control was not something that he exerted. He just did it by being Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you wanted to work for him. I mean, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of respect for you guys as as musicians. It sounds like first. So that's really cool. Cool to hear. Did you ever notice? After, so let's say you get done with Pet Sounds and maybe Cabanescence on Smile. Well, I guess Cabanescence doesn't count, but when you record with Brian and the Beach Boys, and then you hear the actual record on the radio, or you know what? Maybe I ask you this: did you ever get to hear the finished product before the public?
No.
Okay, so your first time hearing stuff was like everybody else then.
Right. And several years ago, someone, I forget who, put together an orchestra where we did Smile and the early Beach Boys stuff. And it was very interesting because I was given a track of the orchestra only, no vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the end of that track, yes, I had vocals. But when you hear the original tracks with orchestra only, it's like a whole different situation.
Right.
Whole different song, in fact. And the song really took shape and character when the vocals went on. And of course, being in the band, you never heard the vocals because they did that later.
Well, so you like Good Vibrations is a really great example of this. When you were playing Good Vibrations, and Mike Love even says, look, the track was crazy, right? There's so much going on and so many different parts. At the time of recording it, were you ever questioning Brian? Did you ever doubt if like, hey, this is weird, this is not going to work? Or did you at that time, because you had worked on Pet Sounds before, did you have full confidence in Brian that, you know what, I don't know this quite, I don't understand it quite yet, but I know this is going to sound cool?
Yeah, that's more of that. You didn't quite understand it, but you knew Brian did.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if he was sure and liked what he heard, and he would let you know if he liked it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just rely on him because he had the finished product on his head. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. What did you think of what did you think of Good Vibrations when it came out, when you heard it the first time? Do you remember?
Yeah, I wasn't sure because, knowing what the public is going to like is not what we in the session work really know best.
Mm-hmm.
You follow your leader and trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows what's going on. Brian's case, that's particularly true. It's like Phil Spector. I mean, Phil would do what he did, and suddenly it was there, and the public accepted that in this case. In Brian's case, sometimes it took a while for it to roll in the public.
Right.
And Good Vibrations was one of those.
Yeah. Well, when the public did eventually hear it, I mean, it was a smash hit that you play probably one of my favorite lines in that entire song. So it's super, super cool to hear you.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever play in, I know you played in the Hollywood studios and things with Brian. Did you ever play in his home studio, like during the Smiley Smile or the Friends? the Friends album. Did you ever do that?
Oh, sure. Chuck Bush was the mixer,
Right.
and we went up to Brian's house. The one he painted purple.
Oh yeah, Purple. Yeah. Well, now when you played in Brian's house, was he still kind of the same as he was in the big studios, or did you see kind of a change?
I didn't notice that much of a change. Brian walked into a room, Brian was still Brian. You know, he didn't have airs that he put on for these people or that situation. He just did what he did.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
At least that's what I got out of it.
Yeah. I guess how does Brian if you look at all the other artists that you've worked with, how does Brian compare with the rest of the folks that you've gotten a chance to work for?
Different.
Different.
Again, if you know Brian, you know what I mean. It's a good difference. And he was very secure in what he did. At least that was the appearance we had. Whether it was or not is another question. But when he did something, he knew what he wanted. I mean, he had it all in his head.
Yeah.
And it was really great to watch. You know, you go over and sing the cello lines on Good Vibration, you know, the repeated notes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he was very sure of what he wanted.
Yeah.
And so most other producers are people that age, like Richard Carver, same way Richard knows exactly what he wants. Richard is also very brilliant.
Yeah.
Tommy, did you ever, when you're working in the studio with Brian, did you ever get to meet any other members of the Beach Boys?
Oh, of course.
And was that a nice experience? Were they pretty nice guys?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And,
I think
Carl and Neil.
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Neil, they're all nice to me. I mean, you know, because I wasn't in the social circle of people in those days. I was really kind of stuck to myself.
Right.
But they all accepted me for what I did.
Right.
So I came in and played, and they respected that, and I did the best I could, and they all knew it. So we had a great relationship. I mean, how bad is that?
Yeah, right. Well, and who would have thought the best you could turns out to be some of the greatest music ever made, right? I mean, your output is not only prolific, but it's at such a high level. I mean, it's incredible, and it's heard all over, and especially Beach Boy records. You play some of the most iconic lines. I mean, that line in Good Vibrations, like I said, it sticks with everybody, and it's sung to this day, right? I mean, they added
the high line at the end was very unusual. Brian whistled that to me.
Really?
And I had to go through a couple of different chromatic harmonicas because they don't have one to bend in the high register. And Brian wanted the notes bend in the high register, so
right.
up to me to do that. So I had to go through a few instruments to find one that would take it. And I did, found it, and I got the sound I hoped that Brian wanted. He was happy, and so was I. It felt good when we did it.
Oh, it sounds phenomenal. Now, was Brian pretty patient with you as you're searching, or was he pretty demanding? Like, I need this sound right now, or was it pretty relaxed? Like, what was your feeling?
He never did that to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. He was totally respectful and didn't push the time element at all.
Yeah.
No, I want to now. Next time through and all that stuff. No.
Yeah. That's
not a kind of.
Tommy, I understand that you also played with Brian on his 2005 album, That Lucky Old Son. There's a really neat song in there called Going Home, and there's a big bass harmonica solo there. When you were able to work with Brian after all those years, how was that? Was it kind of like being back in the '60s with him?
Interesting you say that because I worked with Brian a little bit in the '80s.
Oh, you did.
And then,
okay.
And then when did you say that album was in 2000?
It was. I think it might have been like
2003 or 2008. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I found was in like the 1990s, Brian was much back to the way he used to be.
Really?
After he'd gone through a few different places in those days,
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest thing I noticed that his focus was back.
Really? Okay. Wow.
He got the focus back around 1990 or so, somewhere around 1995 is when I really noticed it. He was like before,
Oh wow.
from the standpoint of focusing on what he wanted, very positive what he wanted, and was an echo of what he had done in his younger days.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and his output at that time was really great too. So that kind of, it definitely lines up there. So Tommy, what are you doing these days, man? What keeps you busy? You have any projects? Do you get to play much anymore?
Well, my problem was in 2013 I had a stroke.
Oh my goodness. Hope
And
you're
I had
doing
another
well.
stroke a year later,
Mm-hmm.
and that took me out of playing.
Oh,
Oh.
my
So
goodness.
and they were major strokes. And that caused me to stop playing, and I'm just now starting to think about playing again.
Oh,
The
wow.
funny thing is, the musculature is different because after a stroke, but I still have my same sound.
Yeah, I bet
And that
you do.
hasn't changed. So I will do some playing again. I think mostly at my local church
Yeah,
area.
man. Well,
And I'm starting to write again also.
oh, really?
Oh, great.
Yeah. We'll be first in line, Tommy, to hear you play. We'll have to go to your church. We'll have to try and make a swing by there and see if we can't catch you. So, man, what an honor to speak with you. It's such an honor and privilege to talk with you. I mean, you've played on so many big records, and especially our favorite band, the Beach Boys, and Brian and the group. It's just an honor to speak with you, Tommy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, also, you asked what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing the book I'm writing that I threatened to write for a long time. And it's my autobiography for a harmonica player, which basically was not a busy instrument before I was in the studios.
Yeah.
And my book will be coming out in about 6 weeks, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Here's Archway Books, and they're part of the Simon & Schuster group, and
Okay.
it recounts a lot of the 7,030 dates that I did in Hollywood.
Oh, wow. 7,000, you said.
Yes.
So, Tommy, did you?
So I was in the studios for 64 years,
Wow.
which is a rather long career.
That's incredible. Well, I know. I mean, you've worked with the Carpenters. You've worked with Streisand. I mean, you've worked with all the big. I mean, you've worked with just about anybody who's anybody out there. I mean, you are the guy. You are probably one of the greatest harmonica players out there. I mean, to ever play the instrument. I mean, you're a legend. You're a Hall of Famer. And in our eyes, you're even extra special to us because, as Beach Boy nerds, you played on some of our favorite albums and gave us those iconic sounds. And it's such a treat to speak with you. Hey, going back real quick, Tommy, and then we'll let you go. I've always wondered, were you ever bummed that Smile and the work you did on that never came out?
Rock and Fire?
So the work you did with Brian on Smile, the album that they were working on after Pet Sounds, it never.
Oh yeah, Smile, sure.
Yeah, it never ended up getting released at that time. Was that ever something that would bother you, or you're like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to that song I played on, and then it never came out. Did that ever cross your mind?
No, that's the business.
That's the business.
Sometimes you're on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
I did a record a while back with Neil Diamond, and that train to Georgia, Neil asked for some unusual sounds and blues, and so I had a mixer line up a double echo chamber, which I loved the sound. It had a great depth, and when I heard the record, Neil had decided that he wanted to put strings over it, which I fixed from the horn mid-range and kind of covered up what I had created, which I thought was good. But that's Neil's prerogative, and so it's something that you're not to be disappointed. You accept it.
Wow.
You know, when you mix your own album, that's when you decide what you want.
Man.
And so I produced 4 of my own albums now. And while I found this a very expensive hobby, I was very glad I did it because it gives a look at what I was as a concert player. And I play 2 of the albums are classical, and some of the things like Middle Waltz, very high speed.
Right.
And I'm glad I did it when I did it, so that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I mean, to have that attitude, I think is so great, and probably it's not surprising why so many folks wanted to work with you, to have that attitude of, you know what, it's after I record it, it's out of my hands. You know, I just have to kind of accept what ends up happening. It's really, really interesting. And once again, not surprising why so many people, you know, kind of sought you out to work with you, because you sound like you would have been really, really great to work with. Well, Tommy, you know, on behalf of my brother and I, we want to thank you. Do you mind if we have a chat here? Do you mind if we take some questions from our viewers? Is that okay? Do you have a moment?
Yes, we're fine.
Okay, so chat, we're going to open up questions to chat. So if you have any questions for Tommy, we would love to take some questions from our chat. But once again, Tommy, we are so honored to have you as we maybe get some questions from the chat here. So all of our friends out there watching us and listening to us tonight, if you have a question for Tommy, we would love to ask him right now. Matt, I think you had a friend that maybe had a couple questions. Did we answer those for Joyce? I think it was.
I got all of them. Tommy, do you remember playing? There was some question about one of the songs you played on, and I'm not sure you remember, because I don't even know if the song had a title when you were working with Brian. But on the Friends album, there's a song called "Passing By." It's just an instrumental. Do you remember playing on that one at all?
The problem I have is titles of songs that I work on. I have no memory virtually of any of the titles, and so they're very hard to bring back.
No, I understand.
And even some things that they became minor hits on occasion.
Right.
And you're just not quite sure.
Well, that's funny.
No, I think Hal Blaine said that one time, that he would play in the studio with Brian, and then he didn't even know what it was. He'd hear it on the radio later. You know? So if it's not a hit, you may not know. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Tom.
That's true. For example, when I actually did the Rain Days and Mondays with the Carpenters.
Carpenters, yeah.
The funny thing is, I didn't even know who they were, because I walked in the studio, and I'm sitting there with the mixer, Larry Levine, and in comes this rather tall, good-looking guy, and he says, "Hi, I'm Richard." So I introduced myself. You know, Richard, who knows?
Yeah, right. Richard, who knows?
But So there's just, well, you want to hear the track? I said, sure, play the track. There's no music. So Richard says, I don't have any music, but he says, I know what I want you to play. So let me go out the piano and write it down.
Right.
So I told him, Richard, why don't you go out the piano and play it and I'll write it down.
Oh,
I figured I could do it faster, and so I could go home earlier. And so we go through and he plays, and he shows me what he wants me to do, and there's a modulation in the tune. So I said, play what you did to letter A, and just take it, transpose it up a third.
Mm-hmm.
I said, fine, I'll do that, because I can do those things. And went back, listened to the track in earnest now in the booth, and then went back out in the studio, started the recording, had a note jam about second bar, so I had to stop the recording. So I said, let's take it from the top. I cleared the note on my instrument, and so I did the tune in one take, and not having rehearsed it even. I just played it. And so Richard can make a decision, much like Brian. And so Richard liked what he heard. He says, that's fine for me. How's it for you? I said, sounds really good to me. So Richard says, okay, thanks. And so I filled out the 1099 or whatever it was form for payroll, and I left. I looked at my watch, and I was there in the studio exactly 20 minutes. And the next time I heard the tune was like 5 months later.
Right.
It was on Muzak, and every store that you walked into in L.A., you walk in and you hear Rain Days Mondays. Huge hit. I didn't know what it was, but I sure knew after I heard it. Oh, Carpenter, sure, I know them.
Tommy, did you?
So neat.
I didn't realize it, and I was introduced, and Richard says, "Hi, this is, the singer," and he didn't say sister. He said, "This is the singer, Karen."
Karen,
and I didn't put the two and two together. Karen Carpenter. So I didn't know Richard's name.
Right.
So that's what you got to help ladies right. You know what you're doing.
That's funny. You never
but when
know.
you hear it, you should know what you're hearing.
That's funny.
That's pretty neat.
Did
you ever out shopping with your family or anything like that and get stopped? And do you ever get noticed being a session guy?
Yeah, I've had that happen to me where I've just stopped to listen because it takes you back.
Yeah.
And the terrible thing about the business now is that my career really doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah, they don't use a lot of musical instruments anymore for sure. That's definitely not. Hey, Tommy, Cindy on Facebook. Cindy says hi, and Cindy wants to know, do you have a favorite harp player? Who's your favorite harp player?
It'd be hard. I like Jonathan Earl Johnson in Nashville a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, he's done some great stuff with the Judds. So he's one of my more favorite people.
Yeah. Christian on Facebook wants to know, what was it like working with Phil Spector?
Now, unfortunately, I never got a chance to.
Oh,
but I heard all the stories from guys who work with him all the time.
Okay.
So, and some of the sections were kind of unusual, I hear. But from my standpoint, I don't have any personal knowledge of that. But I work with a lot of people, not everyone, but certainly a lot of people.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Let's see.
So I'm very fortunate. I had a wonderful career.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You good. You had a incredible career, to say the least. Yeah. I mean, what was your Rick on Facebook wants to know, what was did you have a favorite song of the Beach Boys? Did you ever walking down the street, do you ever listen to any of their music? Did you like any of their songs? Any of favorites for you?
Well, Good Vibrations is hits home, really.
Yeah.
And I know the answer I like because I like the bass harmonica solo,
Yeah.
and I like to use a bass harmonica in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So those two stand out.
Yeah. Tommy, do you ever get to let's go to some other questions here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Hey, Michael, my friend Michael on Facebook says, how enjoyable was the album Tropical for you? Tropical.
Very.
Very. Awesome. Michael said that his dad used to play that, spin that record a lot, and it was a great album. So, yeah.
No, I had the chance. That was early on, and just after I started back at UCLA as a graduate student.
Okay.
And Warner Brothers gave me carte blanche, kind of. I got a chance to pick all the tunes.
Wow.
And then I did the sketches. Warren Baker came in to do the arrangements, and I did the sketches and picked the keys and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the harmonics that the harmonica did, as opposed to the orchestra. So it was great to do that album. Yes.
Wow.
It was neat.
Wow. Incredible. Well, Tommy, I think from all of us here at the Beach Boy Talk family, we want to thank you so much for taking your precious time to spend it with us. It's saying that it's an honor is it doesn't quite do it for us. It's just a privilege. I can't believe we get to talk to you. You're a legend. Not only for your work with Brian and the Beach Boys, but your work for the entire rock pop. I mean, you're an absolute legend, and thank you so much for taking the time with us tonight.
It's certainly been my pleasure, and I really do appreciate your kind words.
Of course. Well, hey, we'll be looking out. You said you had a book coming as well. Is that right?
Yes, and it's called "You Made How Much for Doing What."
It's called "You Made How Much for Doing What." I love that. We're gonna. You have a lot of people that will buy it.
I read
That came from an actual conversation my wife and I had.
Really?
Because she was an electronics assembler, top secret clearance and all that. And she had just finished up a very hard week assembling black boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
And her hard week, and she had her paycheck sitting in front of her. And I just had a check that came in the mail. I think it was for a day and a half on the motion picture. And my check was larger than hers. And she looked at it and she said, "You made how much for blowing and sucking?" It's ridiculous. She said, "You made how much for doing what?" And so the title of the book was born.
I love it. I love it
Can't wait
so
to
much.
read it. I'm gonna get that book when it comes out and read it. You got to have so amazing stories in there. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I treat the style of the book. I have something I call vignettes, which are stories that amplify the storyline in the book. So I pull out stories like with Jan and Dean and Henry Mancini that add to what the book is talking about, and they're separate from that.
Yeah.
So, like you remember Hank Mancini, of course, he called me one summer in late spring. He says, "Hey Tom, I'm going to do the Olive Bowl. Would you like to do it with me?"
Wow.
I said, "Sure, Hank, sounds great." So he lets a couple of seconds go by. He comes back on a low voice and he says, "Hey Tom," he says, "I'll make you famous." So I let a couple of seconds go by and I says, "Hank, don't make me famous, make me rich." So that's the type of association I had with Hank. He did the forward to one of my method books.
Wow.
So he and I were friends, and those were the days when it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you think you'll have any pictures in the book, Tommy?
Yep.
Oh, great.
And I have one that's probably surprising everyone. I'm in a Air Force Band uniform. I was soloist with Air Force Band in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, hey, Tommy, did you ever? You didn't play on Moon River, did you?
No, that was George Fields on the record.
Okay.
I did Moon River with Hank, of course, in several performances. But the recording was good friend George Fields, the harmonic player.
Awesome.
And a great tune.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, look, Tommy, we'll let you go, but man, we are so grateful for you, and we are so excited for your book, and excited to hopefully hear you put out some more music soon. We're big fans of yours here, and once again, thank you very much for coming on our show.
Well, I thank you guys very much for inviting me, because it's been a pleasure. I hope it's been informative.
Oh, it's been wonderful.
And it's always fun to talk about those days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Thank you, Tommy. It was very nice meeting you.
Okay, Tommy, you have a good rest of your night, my friend. Please give your best to your family. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye now.
Yeah, good night.
Man, how cool is that, man? You're speaking with somebody that played on our favorite songs, you know. I mean, he was the guy. I mean, it's one thing, Matt, to talk to, and we've been really lucky to speak with guys that write about the Beach Boys and folks that they're experts on the Beach Boys, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it's a little bit different to talk to somebody that was sitting there on a music stand with Brian behind him singing or whistling what he wants him to play. Like, it's kind of surreal.
It really is. And he was there for, Brian's most creative period, the Pet Sounds, like that, again, they made a movie about that, and Smile.
Yeah.
And I was really kind of happy to hear that even during the Friends and Smile, that he said Brian was still in control. Brian still had that focus. And I think that's important. He was there and he saw it, and what a nice guy, though. I can't wait to read his book. I bet it's going to be amazing. He seems like he's got a great sense of humor too. So it'd be awesome to hear.
Yeah, man. I have a couple takeaways, but what are any takeaways from that, from his answers? So,
yeah.
By the way, a little bit tough to hear sometimes, but
yeah.
But any takeaways from Tommy? Because
well,
I've got
like I said,
things.
Yeah, the first takeaway I had was that, again, he said that during, we hear about the mythical Smile period and Brian losing it, and then, he wasn't involved in Friends and all, even though we know he was. That's the myth. And for Tommy to say that he was in control during all that time was very interesting, right? Another takeaway that he said that really surprised me was when he said that he knew Brian in the early 90s and he worked with him the 80s and 90s. And he said Brian got back to his old self in regard to focusing, I thought that was interesting. And my last takeaway was, I thought it was really cool that he said that, he kind of showed Brian all the different harmonicas, and he's like, which one do you want? And then when he heard the bass harmonica, he said that's all he wanted. He kind of flipped out.
Yeah.
I think that's neat. And it's also a humbling thing for Brian Wilson, right? The fact that he said, Brian didn't write anything down. It was a blank sheet on my music stand. And he just said, this is what I want you to play it. And it was really, really neat stuff. So those are my takeaways. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I have to give you credit because you had a lot of really good questions here, and I was asking a lot of your questions, and
okay.
to be honest, because they were just so good. And one of the ones was from Pet Sounds, the Smile, and we talking about Friends. Brian, he mentioned that Brian was the same Brian, maybe I'm guessing that maybe like the amount of time he spent actually doing it probably was less. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the thing. But like you just said, one big takeaway from Tommy is that Brian Wilson in the Smile period was the same sharp, focused Brian Wilson in the Pet Sounds period.
Yep.
It's just for some reason people like to drum up just kind of nonsense about him at that time.
And we've heard that from David Leaf and Peter Ames Carlin, that Brian was still the Brian we all know, but it's like these two conflicting stories. So it was neat to hear somebody that was actually there confirm that, you know?
Yeah, and it's really frustrating as a Beach Boy fan too. And a Beach Boy fan that, like, Matt and I are not shy about letting everybody know that, look, we're not in a camp. Like, we're not Brian Wilson fanboys. We're not Mike and Bruce fanboys. We love the band. Like, we have no interest in battling anybody about who's better or who owns what or whatever. We really just don't care at all, to be honest. But it's frustrating as a Beach Boy fan to hear like a firsthand account like that of someone who was actually there, and then you hear like the stuff about Brian that, you know, Brian was just, you know, Brian was crazy or on drugs during this period or whatever, or like with Mike stuff, like Mike didn't want to do Pet Sounds and Mike hated all this stuff, and it's just like, the more I listen to these guys that were there and that were a part of it, you start to realize that I feel like maybe that kind of stuff is maybe more to sell, like publication.
Yeah,
to sell,
salaciousness sells, right?
Yeah, like clickbait kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, and Cabin Essence is funny because obviously Tommy played bass harmonica, like a harmonica all over Cabin Essence. Mike Love sang all over Cabin Essence. Great vocal on that, you know?
Yeah, and one of the other things that I've always heard too is that they say some of Brian's later albums he didn't really write and didn't have a lot to do with, like that Lucky Old Son. So it was neat to hear Tommy say, no, Brian was focused and kind of in control when he came in there to do that. You know.
By the way, not to rub it in from your earlier nonsense with Many Moods of Matt, if you didn't catch that, make sure you go back and listen to my brother. But he did mention Brian got his focus back in the mid-'90s.
Yeah.
So, in your face.
Why is that in my face? That doesn't mean he wrote bad
it's in your
music
face.
in the 80s.
No, but clearly that was mostly Landy, and it sounds like it. In your face.
Okay.
In your face.
No, a really interesting guy. And I really thought it was neat that he had the same thing to say as Hal Blaine. Like, it was a business for them, right? And so he kind of implied sometimes you play stuff, you never know you're going to hear it again, or you hear it on the radio and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I played on, you know? And I thought that was really cool too, that he kind of talked about that, how hearing a finished product 5 months later when he talked about the Carpenters, right? Not knowing who they were, he just came in and got paid to do it. And, you know, when it's a business like that, it's really interesting, you know?
I loved how he, you know, because I've been in the studio before, modestly, you know, not anywhere near any of these folks. But sometimes you're around people that are really hardcore and can get kind of crazy. He was pretty decisive about his comment about Brian being pretty relaxed and kind of not really respectful of everybody in the studio.
Yeah.
And while he was focused and knew what he wanted, he had a ton of respect for the musicians in the room, you know, and it's just kind of, you know, it's just kind of what you'd expect from Brian, you know. It's just super cool to kind of confirm that, you know.
And the fact that he said Brian, like said, well, I know we're kind of beating a dead horse, but Brian didn't write anything down. It is really, like he said, Brian was brilliant because it was all up here, you know. And he went up to every musician and said, "This is what I want you to play and play." I don't think everybody can do that. That's got to be a gift. And if you don't have to have notation, you know.
Right.
So.
And I don't know if you caught it, but Tommy said that like he would maybe play some stuff for Brian. Yeah. And Brian would say, you know, no, thank you. Like, no, I hear. Like Brian knows what good.
I know what I want.
What this is gonna sound like, you know, and that's such a cool thing.
It was pretty neat. Yep.
Yeah. It's what a very special interview. I'm excited to go back and kind of listen to it and piece it together because, like I said, from an audio standpoint, you know, obviously couldn't hear a whole lot or as much as you'd probably want to, but some gems in there that I'm excited to go back and listen to. Man, really fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, fascinating.
Chat,
what a thrill.
Really fun. Everybody that has joined us tonight, really appreciative of you. Hope you've had a great time. We're not done yet. We don't have to stop. But what do you think? Any thoughts on our guest Tommy Morgan? We'd love to hear what the chat has to say, and we'll read some of what our friends have to say on that. Allison says that, you know, the Beach Boys story in general has been warped beyond belief just to fit the narrative. Mike versus Brian. Yeah, you know, the Mike versus Brian thing sells, and it gets you clicks, you know, and everybody likes to remind folks of Mike's Hall of Fame thing, and then everybody likes to remind folks of Brian's drug use, you know. It's just like, you know, I think it's just overblown, you know. People have moments, and
Well,
And at
even
the end of
the Mike Love "Don't F with the Formula" quote. My understanding that wasn't actually even
Yeah.
said, you know.
Right.
But now it's like fact, right? You know.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, and Peter Ames Carlin, who we were lucky enough to have on the show, he sets it up in his book where Mike Love is making fun of heroes and villains and saying this is terrible, this is not going to work, it's awful. And then after saying all that, you hear Brian say, "That's awesome, I love it." You know, Brian's telling him to say all that. You know, and so it's just kind of crazy. So
that's why that stuff doesn't matter, man. You know, it's about the happiness their music brings. You know,
it's about Tommy Morgan. That's all we care about.
Yeah,
that guy knows how to live a life. That guy. Knows
he is the harmonica on Good Vibe. I'm like starstruck. I mean, it's so amazing that we actually heard it from him. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. It is crazy. He is the guy who. I mean, we got to talk with him. We all got to just speak with him, and it's a pretty cool moment. Les says his list of songs is incredible. Yeah, really.
Oh my God. You guys got to go to his website because again, over 7,000 sessions, over 600. He's played in over 600 movies, and then the again, I didn't even know he played on that famous Holly song. He and Heavy, He's My Brother. That's an iconic harmonica in that song. You know,
yeah, exactly. and that's the thing. It's such an unassuming instrument to begin with. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like to actually stick out as a iconic harmonica part.
Yeah.
That's like saying something on one song, but he's like all over the place on these tunes. Like, Good Vibrations it's like Bruce Johnson to me singing the tag on God Only Knows. It's like, how did you get on that? That's amazing. Like, it's such a cool
and
part.
I like that he said, I know there's an answer is his favorite because it's the first. I bet it is the first song with a bass harmonica. I mean, just to be able to say I played the first bass harmonica in like a pop song is really cool. You know.
Well, and how cool is it to say I introduced this instrument to Brian Wilson too? It's just.
And he kept saying that. He said after he heard the bass harmonica, it was over. You know.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Rick on Facebook says Hal Blaine said the same thing about Brian in the studio. Same with Carol Kay on the bass. So you love to hear that it's all the same. Like you're not getting conflicting stories from these people. It's all the same. Claire, our good friend Claire, says I hate that Brian, the drugs, Dennis, Charles Manson, Mike blamed for everything. I hate it too. It's just dumb.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
It gets old. And, you know, we all have our warts. We all have our faults. We all have our stuff. That's human nature, right? So we should focus on the beautiful stuff that they've given us, you know? So
Yeah, exactly. Taylor says, having grown up with the Beach Boys, I take everything with a grain of salt. Right, exactly. Allison says Mike is criminally overhated. 100%. There's. I don't think anybody will argue. Well, the only people that would argue with you are people that do not like Mike Love. But you won't get any argument there from us, Allison. I totally agree. Joyce says, love all the guests. They give us a new meaning to a lot of the stories we hear. Yeah, and Joyce, it's so funny because I was just thinking that I'm going to put on my headphones and listen to Cabin Essence and Good Vibrations and just kind of have a moment and be like, man, it's a great track. He played it really well, and you know, we're lucky to have a guy like Tommy. So yeah,
no doubt. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I would have loved to have Hal on this show. My goodness, that would have been a dream. So good stuff. Yeah.
Julie said, the older I get, the more particular I get about who I choose to believe. Yeah, you know, that's true too, and that's been one of the blessings of the show for Greg and me. I mean, we normally didn't talk about that stuff too much anyways. We've heard all the stories, but hearing it from people that are actually there, you know, that can have an account of it, you know, Bobby and Carly and Tommy and these folks is really interesting. You know, it changes my perspective a lot, you know, and we heard it out of the mouths of people that were there, you know. Steven said, check out Pet Stories on the 40th anniversary release of Pet Sounds. There's a nice interview with Tommy Morgan on there. I'm going to check that out. Cool.
Yeah, we'll check that out. So cool, Matt, man. Any closing thoughts for our, we don't have anything else tonight. I think we done,
got trivia.
Man.
Trivia.
Oh, let's do our trivia. Let's do some trivia. That's right. And we got to call in here. So
again, the win tonight for trivia is you get an issue of Endless Summer Quarterly from Summer.
Why is your screen? Sorry. Keep going. I'm so sorry.
From summer 2010, it's the Beach Boys television and film appearances, and it comes with a CD called The Boys of Summer. Now, remember, this is from 2010, so this is a really cool collector's item too, you know, to have now. And again, we thank David for allowing us to give some of this away. But this is what's at stake tonight for the trivia.
Okay.
So if you want to do it, we're going to have a number to call. I think the call
It's
number's
right
already
underneath
up.
there. It's
Now
right
we do ask you, do not answer this question in the chat.
Don't
if you know
answer
it,
it.
please.
If you know the answer, do not answer it in the chat. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Les.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to give the question. 2 weeks ago, we did a UK stream, and for me, it went really well until the last 15 minutes. But anyway, it was fun to do it in the afternoon and have some other folks on there that like Greg and I have talked to some of the folks on Facebook, but we've never been able to interact with them live because of the time. So it was really a pleasure. But with that being said, the question is a question about the UK. The question is,
here we go.
What is the first Beach Boys song in the UK to make it in the top 10?
Whoa, what is the first Beach Boys song to make it in the top 10? You got to call us.
In the UK, yeah.
Nobody say it in the chat. Les, do not say it in the chat. Nobody, you got to call us right now.
It's not Ding Dang either, Les.
And if you call us right now, you will win Vintage Endless Summer Quarterly. We will mail that to you.
This is all in the package too, so even if you just want to keep it as a collector's item.
And Matt will sign it for you. Matt will sign it with a Sharpie.
Oh, no, I won't. Best wishes, Matt Coffee or something.
Is that? Thanks for being a fan, Matt Coffee.
Stay cool. Remember in the yearbooks, we always wrote like "Stay cool, don't ever change." Remember that kind of stuff in the high school yearbook?
No, sorry, you were a different generation than I was. We didn't.
That's what we used to write. Don't ever change who you are.
We didn't have yearbooks. It was digital stuff. All right, we have a caller. Let's see who we got, Matt.
Call from
Don.
Oh.
To accept, press 1.
Wait, hold on. What is that? Hold on. What's going on? Hold on.
He said Don.
I know. All right.
To accept, press 1.
Here we go. Hey, this is Greg and Matt with Beach Boys Talk. Who do we have?
Hey, Greg. This is Don. How you doing, sir?
Don, how are you, my friend?
Don.
All right, Don, you got an answer for us.
I'm going to take a wild guess. I get around.
I get around. Matt,
I get around.
Is he right?
Is correct. Yes. Now the first single to be released in the UK was Surfing USA, but it did not hit the top 10.
That's surprising.
That's
surprising.
Yep.
Don, congratulations, my friend. Hey, hit us up on Facebook via Messenger, and we'll get those out to you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Have a good
friend.
night.
Yeah, you too.
I'm listening.
Awesome. Love it.
Great show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Oh, man. Yeah, cool stuff. It's funny. Great Britain was a little late to all of this stuff, and I think that's probably just because of just naturally they
it didn't go to number 1 in the UK either. It went to number 1 in the US. I think it hit number 4, number 6, or something.
Well, like we talked about 2 weeks ago on our UK show, UK was all about the cool stuff, man. Like they were like, I mean, I get around, Surfing USA is cool, but
our UK show, we talked about Wild Honey, Friends, Sunflower. All those albums did really well in the UK.
They did
compared to the US, anyways. Yeah,
so much better, So, well, Matt, it's been a really fun show, man. Any final thoughts for our friends here before we sign off?
No, just again, it's good to be back. We missed you all. Greg and I really do enjoy doing this, and but we couldn't have built it without you all. And I feel blessed to be able to talk to you all and talk to these neat guests. So, you're gonna do some requests? We have some requests for requests.
Yeah, we'll do. Let's do a couple requests, and then we'll call it. Anybody have any songs they want to hear tonight? Anybody want to hear a song?
Thank you, Cindy. Take care. How about you guys request some songs with some awesome Mike Love?
Mike Love. Let's do some Mike Love song. Anybody got a Mike Love song they want to hear? We can sing a little bit. Matt,
that's right. Monza Media. Yeah, you were awesome on the show, man. On the UK show, yeah.
Yeah, Zach was a lot of fun. That was
Zach.
Good.
Yeah,
that was good. Hey, Steven, thanks for joining us, my friend. Angela, let's do Surfer Girl.
I get around, and Ding Dang. Ding Dang is a Mike Love lead. That's true, but yeah, play Surfer Girl for Angelica, the Surfer Girl of Facebook.
She is the Surfer Girl of Facebook, Angelica.
Yeah, she rocks. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Little rather serve together while our love would grow. In my woody, I would take you everywhere I go. So I say from me to you, I will make your dreams come true. Do you love me? Do you serve her? Girl, my little son, little one.
Awesome.
And scene. All right. We got any other ones?
Yeah, how about Airplane? That's a nice Mike Love vocal. Greg Shady requested that one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Hopefully, let me see if I might have to look
Can't
at-
wait to see Airplane. You got to do that part.
I love that part. Matt, let me pull up the lyrics here real quick.
Over the city.
Next week, everybody, we're doing the entire Surf's Up album.
Surf's Up album next week, our review. If you care about our review, but
Nope, nobody cares about our review except I do hate that album. I don't hate it. I just do not like Surf's Up at all. I mean, Till I Die and Surf's Up are like the only two good songs.
Dude, the last three songs, A Day in the Life of a Tree, Until I Die, Surf's Up. Well, it's got Carl's tunes on there, Long Promise Road,
Oh crap!
Feel Flows.
I forgot about that. I don't like Feel Flows. Is it bad that I don't like Feel Flows?
The Al song on there is good. That Welfare song, what's it called? I forget what it's called, but
No, it's awful. Dude, no way.
You don't like Take Good Care of Your Feet or Take a Load Off Your Feet? Bradley Cooper said you have to sing a BW 88 song. Well, you've sang Love and Mercy before, but
No way. I'm not singing any of that crap.
oh man,
That crap is not touching my vocal cords.
if I could play the piano, I'd destroy it, but I can't. So sorry.
Oh.
You gotta change the key.
That was about to be a mistake.
You were about to go super high.
Over the city in an airplane, I can see everything below. The houses, they look so tiny, the cars look like dots. I've only got 15 minutes to go. Clouds up in the sky caress my mind so tenderly. The sun shines down on the great big beautiful sea. The sound of the engine fills my ears up. Hoping this rainy weather clears up. My brother is waiting at the airport. Hi, Matt. That was nice. I just saw you waving.
I can't wait to see your face.
The woman next to me, she tells me all about her guy, and I tell her all about you and I.
Whoa.
Airplane, airplane. Oh man. Got
Awesome
me
chords.
by my sky.
He's got some crow.
I know I'm dying right now.
That's Brian, man.
Down, down on the ground. Can't wait to see her fade.
You got to count it off.
1, 2, 3.
I can't wait to see her face. I can't wait to see her face. I can't wait to see her face. I can't wait.
You got to do the can't wait like he gets all the. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Cool.
Okay, we got any more? Let's do one more and then
I saw some, but they passed by. What about let's see, Living with a Heartache?
Oh yeah, let's do Living with a Heartache.
Why don't we end with that one? That's a good one to end with.
We'll end with Living with a Heartache. A little bit of Living with a Heartache.
Carl Wilson.
I think I know all the
lyrics.
lyrics. Yeah, way better than anything off of Brian Wilson '88. We know that.
Oh God.
You're freaking crazy, man, to say that. There's no way that Living with a Heartache lyrics. Let's do it.
Hey, I came through with the many moods, man. That's the point. To ruffle your feathers.
All right, Living with a Heartache.
The only thing about Living with a Heartache, I'll say, is I think it's a little bit too long. I think it's got like one extra verse, or you know what I mean? It's too long.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
it's like 4 minutes long, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's awesome, but it should be cut in half probably.
Yeah, Living with a Heartache is like 3 verses way too long, but it's an awesome, awesome song. We'll only do a couple verses here and then call it, but let's do a little bit of it.
Let me alone, nothing but a heartache. Don't leave me alone, living with a heartache. After all this time, still wish you were mine. Miss you every day. Come back to me and stay. Living with a heartache. With a heartache, I've loved you for so long. Start to believe that you've really gone. I'll try to change to what I should be. I'm not good alone. You know everyone sees that you let me alone. Nothing but a heartache, but a heartache. Don't leave me alone, living with a heartache. After all this time, still wish you were mine. Miss you every day. Come back to me and stay. Living with a heartache, living with a heartache. Please come back, stay with me. Give our love a chance, and maybe you will see. Our love is true, like a heart of gold. I promise you, a love you can hold. Said you left me alone, with nothing but a heartache. Don't leave me alone, living with a heartache. After all this time, still wish you were mine. Miss you every day. Come back to me and stay. Living with a heartache, living with a heartache.
On that note, some of you were wondering about, Greg, you mentioned taking a break. We'll talk about that in the near future.
Yeah.
But no worries. It's all for good. It's going to be awesome. So we'll let you know about that as it comes
Man, thank you everybody so much for watching us. Don't forget to follow us on Beach Boys Talk page on Facebook, on our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group so you can participate in the polls. We are also on Instagram at Beach Boys Talk and YouTube and Twitch as well. If you love the show, if you like the show, if you hate the show, share it. Who cares? We would love for you to share it with your friends. But to all of our best friends out there that join us every week, thank you so much. We are honored to have you on here. Next week, we're talking the Surf's Up album, so don't miss it. We'd love to have everybody on as we talk through our Surf's Up album with David Beard. But everybody, have an absolutely wonderful rest of your night, rest of your day. For those of our friends out in Australia, we love you very much, everybody. Have a good night. Oh. Time out. Let's try that again, Matt. Let's rewind it. Ready? I want to do that take again. I didn't say it. I don't feel like my voice was good enough. Okay, here we go. You ready? Hey, everybody. We really thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. We're going to talk our Surf's Up album. It's going to be a lot of fun with David Beard. Everybody have a great night. Have a great day, depending on where you are. We love you. Good night, everybody.